Hello, everyone. Welcome to the TalkBGKY podcast, the official city podcast for the city of Bowling Green. This is Talia Butler speaking. I'm the Downtown Development Coordinator for the city. I'll be your host for this podcast segment. We are talking about the return of Duncan Hines Days, year 4. It is coming up on us very quickly, May 31st through June the 6th this year. We have got over 20 events happening throughout Bowling Green and Warren County throughout the course of the week. A mix of good food, good fun, entertainment, and adventure and recreation. And today, we're not only going to talk about just why Duncan and give a little bit more of his backstory, but we're also going to talk to several community partners out there who are area attractions hosting Duncan or Dolly themed events during Duncan Hines Days this year. So I'm going to go around the table and let each of you introduce yourselves. Let's start with Miss Kate Holmes from Lost River Cave. Tell us all about you and all about the cave's mission and what you all love most about Bowling Green. We'll start with that.
Okay, all right. Yes, as you said, I'm Kate Holmes. I'm the membership manager at Lost River Cave, and I've been there for about 7 years in total. It's just a wonderful place if you've ever been. It's a little slice of nature right in the middle of the city, and our mission is just to enrich lives through connections with nature. So we've got school programs. We had school kids out today sluicing, finding some cool minerals and gemstones and such, and we're giving boat tours. We're educating about our karst environment that is right under our feet. We do a lot of fun things. We're actually in the midst of Earth Week right now, so that is fun. We've got movie night tomorrow, so there's a lot going on at the cave.
And one of the cool ties with Duncan, with you all specifically too, is I love that he was like the quintessential road tripper, essentially, and you all being that roadside attraction off of Nashville Road that was the U.S. highway, like the main drag that everybody went by when they were going from Chicago all the way down to Florida. Like Duncan would have driven by your place a million times, and he being that traveler who would stop at those roadside places just kind of gives me the warm fuzzies when I think about how Lost River Cave is an ideal example of that. And the cave's hosting some fun stuff. We'll get to that here in a little bit. We're going to hop across the table. This is to Mr. Bob Bubness from Aviation Heritage Park. What's going on, Bob?
Well, we're having a good time over there today. We've got lots of Corvettes coming over from the Bash, and we've got our docents are out there, our fighter pilots are out there giving tours, and we're just having a grand time, just enjoying a beautiful day.
What's the mission of Aviation Heritage Park and Museum?
Well, the Aviation Heritage Park and Museum got started in 2009 with that big F-4 that drove down Three Springs Road and landed in Basil Griffin Park, right? And that's what started the whole thing, but our museum's been open for the last 2.5 years. And the idea is to educate, inspire, and engage the next generation of achievers. And that's everything we do is centered on that one thing. And so because we have kind of a special theme in that all of our aircraft are connected to people from South Central Kentucky. And so all the exhibits inside are also that way as well. So when school groups come in, we just had a school group this morning, came in, and here is a wall that shows this person was from Bowling Green and went to Bowling Green High, and this one went to WKU, and all of them are from this area. So we love the idea of inspiring that next generation of people, and not just aviators. I mean, we're all about that too. If you want to learn how to fly, we've got we can inspire you, and then we can put you on a flight simulator and get you that next step. Get you some flight time. But we're really about people just being the best at who they are. So one of the things that we try to do, and kick me under the table if I go too long, one of the things we try to do is get kids to think, attack your life like a fighter pilot. First off, they know right from the beginning what they want to do. They're always the hardest working person in the room. They never take no for an answer, and they believe in themselves. I had one general tell me that the only person you have to convince that you can do anything is you. Once you've done that, you can do anything. And so it's not about the conflict as much as people might think it is, because we have these great aircraft. It's about character. And so we've integrated all kinds of educational programming into what we do. So we just had a camp not too long ago with robots. Got 5 more camps coming up. We've added spots because they're so popular. And we just got a lot of fun things lined up for next year.
And our third guest is Miss Jamie Johnson from the Historic Rail Park and Train Museum. Jamie, tell us all about the mission over at the depot and what you all have going on right now.
Yeah, so the mission at the depot is pretty simple. We want to share the story of passenger travel, and we're talking about in the golden age of travel when people got dressed up fancy to get on a train to go someplace, maybe to see friends and family. And so that's our main mission. And so the way we do that is by offering tours through historic rail cars and then offering tours through our museum so that people can actually have some experience and get an introduction into those things.
Well, and Duncan himself was also a railroad traveler before he finally got his first car when he was in his 30s-ish, right? So you have that kind of connection to the Duncan story, plus you have the Duncan Hines Diner car that actually has his name on it.
Yes, we do. So we have our own Duncan Hines Diner right here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we actually put the name on the car. We had the opportunity to rename the car, and we did. So when you come to the rail park and you take a tour there, you're going to learn a little bit about Duncan, not just in our rail cars, but inside of the depot as well. We have some exhibits that share some parts and pieces of that story. One in particular about the Harvey girls, which it goes all the way back to the day when Fred Harvey started restaurants out west so that people would have a place to eat. The first real dining experience that Duncan Hines ever had was in a Fred Harvey restaurant out west. And so that's kind of, most people don't realize, and I believe he was 19 years old when he had his first true dining experience. Most of us probably today that are sitting here and that are listening to this, you probably had your first out-to-eat dining experience before you were even old enough to remember it. Yeah, times have changed.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even realize that for his first dining experience being at a Harvey Girls restaurant.
Yes.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
And we're telling a little bit of the history of Duncan here and kind of reminding everybody why we started Duncan Hines Days back up all those years ago. And for those of you who are listening and aren't completely familiar with Duncan's story, he was a real gentleman, born right here in Bowling Green in 1880. We like to say Betty Crocker, the other brand, was made up. She was not a real person, but Duncan is our native son. And he was a graduate of Bowling Green Business University here that eventually became part of WKU, and he is part of their Hall of Distinguished Alumni, technically. He eventually published a book in 1936 called Adventures in Good Eating, which was a recommendation from basically his diary saying all the places that he would stop along his travels that were safe and clean to eat, sleep, explore, and over the next 20 years, he became the most trusted household name for over 140 or so different products. It could be baking mix like we are familiar with today, but he also had grills and silverware, cups, all of those things that you would associate with your typical dining or like entertainment experience. And Duncan is celebrated here in Bowling Green every year at this event, but it's not necessarily celebrating the man himself. It is the legacy that he left and all of the impacts that he had on the hospitality industry, on the food and beverage industry, and setting all of those safety standards that we are familiar with today that the health department very aggressively ensures whenever we go out to eat or go to sleep anywhere at a hotel. But one of the things that we wanted to really drill into the Duncan story for the community was how all of our community partners like you all are connected somehow to that story. All of you have individual attractions that have unique missions. You're all very different in many ways, but all of you have some kind of connection to that hospitality and that legacy of Duncan. And that's why we wanted to bring you all here today to talk about it on this podcast. So we'll start with Kate. What is Lost River Cave doing this year during Duncan Hines Days that is something like unique and special just for this year's occasion?
Yeah, we're jumping in with the Dolly Days as well. We've got a butterfly celebration. It's Dolly's Taste of Nature, the Butterfly Garden Party. So you can stop by anytime on that Monday, I believe, and stop by the habitat. We'll have hundreds of butterflies. It opens Memorial Day, so we'll have plenty of butterflies there for you to see. You can talk to our curator, learn about what we like to call the gateway bug, because they're beautiful. Nobody's scared of butterflies for the most part, and so you can kind of get into that insect and pollinator world and enjoy that. And we know Dolly loved butterflies, so that is a good connection there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and she says Dolly, you guys. She's also referencing Dolly Parton. We have a unique connection between Dolly and Duncan in the real world now. Here a few years ago, the Duncan Hines brand did a collaboration with Dolly Parton that was a Southern baking mix line, and it took off. It was just some muffins and cake mix initially, and now there's cookies and biscuits and cobbler and all of those wonderful things like Dolly would have at her home, right? And this year, just for the America 250 celebration, the Dolly and Duncan brand is releasing a red, white, and blue patriotic sugar cookie for the summer, and that will be part of the baking mixes that we receive from the Duncan Hines brand at Conagra Foods to give away at y'all's locations at all of the different events we have going on throughout the week. So Dolly is very much part of Duncan's world, and anytime you can have a Dolly Parton connection, you need to lean into it because nobody doesn't like. She is this universal peacemaker, and we love that about her. So thank you, Lost River Cave, for adding Dolly to the days.
We won't forget Duncan, though. We will also have some snow cones, or cave ice, as we like to call it. So we're going to do some cake themes there. So we'll have 2 special snow cones you can come get that week. It's strawberry shortcake and funfetti.
Oh, yum. And that's at your Trailside Treats, like mobile concession stand, right? And you just opened that last year. It's still relatively new.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of goodies in the concession trailer. It's Trailside Treats. You'll see it in our parking lot on any given day. And we've got hot dogs, we've got pretzels, we've got, chips, nachos, anything you can think of pretty much. So,
Well, because when you go exploring in the cave, you want a snack when you get done. Like it's just a natural thing.
Or a nice water after the walk up from the cave.
Right. Or a snow cone.
That's right.
Perfect. Yes. Well, thank you, Kate. Let's head over to Aviation Heritage Park. Bob, what do you all have going on for Duncan Hines Days this year?
Well, this is our first one. Last time I was watching everybody else have all the fun, thinking, right? So I reached out to you, and you said, yeah, join the party. Our first challenge was figuring out, what are we going to do? I think that the AHP would be a place Duncan would love to go if he was on looking for a place to have some fun and stop on his travels. But what could we do that's connected to Duncan Hines? And so I got this bright idea that we could make trench cakes and serve them samples so people could get a taste of what it was like in World War II, how people used baking to kind of ease the pain and give soldiers an opportunity to have a taste of home. And as I presented this idea to our team, the volunteers began to laugh, said, you apparently have never eaten.
What does that mean? What is the trench cake actually like, Bob?
Well, I know it doesn't have eggs or milk or butter. So they use vinegar and water, and it's dried fruit and molasses. And the more I talk about it, the more I'm thinking, yeah, that wouldn't be that good. It's really hard too. And now, the good thing about it was that they could pack it and they could send it to the trenches. And these guys who are living the horrors of war and whatnot, that would be a taste of home, And, for us to feed people, it just didn't seem like the right thing to do. So we came up with doing ration cakes instead. And ration cakes were sort of the same idea that you had to use what you could get your hands on. The things that there were shortages because a lot of the food was getting shipped over to soldiers anyway. So there was an egg shortage. There was a milk and butter shortage. So you still didn't have those materials to work with, but preservation wasn't a big deal. So these are cakes that taste really good, that give people around the table, they could have dessert and they could have this moment, at wartime, this one nice thing that they could do. And this is something that they would serve to soldiers too when they were in town. Well, So the idea continued to roll, and next thing you know, we're going to do little recipe cards that have the recipe to make these.
Love it.
And on the other side, you have a calendar of events for the HP, so we can get people to come to our other events, like our open cockpit, where you can get into the aircraft and that all the astronauts flew in, all the people who walked on the moon. But they also want to go become the donut dollies. Those were women who were from the Red Cross, who would go out and serve the soldiers, who would be morale boosters to people who were serving. And so we've got a whole team of people who are going to be dressed up as donut dollies. So we'll have that going on. Plus we're going to be piping out World War II music. And we found a bunch of old Duncan Hines commercials that are
cool.
So you'll be listening to the radio, and all of a sudden this Duncan Hines commercial will come up too. And so we're putting all that together just to have a really good big time. We'll have our people out there to talk about what life was like for people at home during World War II, and how it all kind of comes back to gathering around the table to have a cake.
And this is that Tuesday of the week, right?
Right, from 10 o'clock to 2.
Okay.
So we'll when people are getting finished with the pickleball palooza and they want to come in and cool off, come and use a bathroom that's Bucky's clean and
Clean. I like that.
Yeah, and have a taste of what we call it, a taste of hope, because that was what these guys were getting when they would get these cakes. So we're looking forward to it. Hope a lot of people come out and.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
And
we've got a great team.
The park is next door neighbors to Shares Basil Griffin Park, and that is where, as Bob mentioned, the Pickleball Palooza event is happening from 9 to 12 that day. Right. So everyone who goes out to play pickleball, we are recommending they take some air conditioning moments of respite and come see you and explore as well.
We've got like 60 exhibit galleries that are open too, that tell the story of local aviators who all had a hand in where we are today. And I think that's what makes us kind of unique, is that we're telling the story of us.
Yes.
So.
Yes, that is such a great connection. And as we continue down the Duncan Hines path, Jamie, what's going on with the rail park with Duncan Hines Days this year?
So we are excited to be able to participate with Duncan Hines Days Festival again this year. We've done, I think it's the last 3 years. Yeah, since it's been revived. And so if you come to the rail park, the main thing that we'll be doing there is our guided rail car tours during the month of June. We just talk about Duncan Hines. So we add a little extra sugar to the tour. And that particular week, all the tours that are going on that week, they'll get a treat when they stop in the Duncan Hines Diner. So it may have something to do with a sugar cookie. So, so every year we try to change it up a little bit. But the deal was he had a sweet tooth. And so we usually offer a sweet treat in the car and talk about a little more. We elaborate a little bit more on his story. And then because this year is America's 250th anniversary, we actually start in the month of June adding in layers about America's birthday and all the great things that we get to celebrate here. So this year, if you're coming out and you've been on the tour last year, it'll be a little bit different this year, a little bit larger. And then in our gift shop, we will have, we usually have a few of the Duncan Hines books. So the book has, I don't know what edition it's up to now, but it's been redone a couple times, the cookbook. And so we have that available for sale. And we actually carry a whole line of Dolly merchandise now because of Duncan Hines and the connection with her. So much, in fact, that we do have some people who think she's from Kentucky. So
you're like, what do you mean? Yes, she is. We'll take her.
Yeah. Answer that. We just change the subject. Yeah, we're so grateful to the connection that they have with Dolly Parton, and people love that when they come to the gift shop and they see, an apron with Dolly on it, or a batter spoon, anything like that. Dolly earrings. I mean, all that. We have so much fun Dolly stuff. And then, of course, we'll be a part of giving away, I guess, the cake cookie mixes again this year as well. So that's the main thing that's happening at the depot. And then, of course, when you go through our museum, you'll see the Harvey Girls exhibit. And then we also have a canteen exhibit that kind of is in line with a little bit of what you talked about, Bob, and what you all have going on there. There are some treats in there, but you can't eat them. They're sealed away in glass. So at least after you visited Aviation Heritage Park and you come to the rail park, you'll remember Bob. And then we switch gears to, we also operate the trolley. So Bowling Green Trolley Tours and Rentals, and the trolley for the first time last year, and we'll be repeating again this year, we're doing the Dolly Trolley. So volunteers in the community will have the opportunity to dress up like Dolly, board the trolley, and drive around downtown, and then they unload and kind of get a red carpet entrance into the Capitol. And so if there's folks listening out there and there's still time, you can check out our Sign Up Genius, and you have to be Dolly inspired to get on the trolley for that day. And so that's a lot of fun to have the Dollies come in and introduce the film and that kind of thing. So we're happy to participate in that. And then also our trolley makes a connection with another program that we called Unseen BG, which is tours that we do, and we'll have miniature Duncan Hines tours going around downtown. I think that's in conjunction with the night that you do the big kickoff.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And so we have one of our local talent actors. He portrays Duncan and does a quick tour around town. It's an under 30-minute tour. It's complimentary that night, and we'll run several of those. And it's just a fun way to get on the trolley if you haven't been on the trolley, and also just to take a little spin around downtown and learn a little history about certain places that have some connection with Duncan.
I am so excited for the new trolley loop that we have also built for that downtown kickoff night, that Sunday, May 31st.
Yes.
If you have been to any of these events in years past, we have had a vintage car show, a biking and walking parade, and some kind of community block party or ice cream social or just a gathering. And last year, we added a Fountain Square block party event for that Sunday, and it had such a good turnout, and we had such great feedback from the community that like a lot of families came to that one because it was during a Sunday afternoon instead of a weeknight evening. So we moved everything that was part of that original downtown kickoff to this Sunday and combined it for a big block party up by Fountain Square. So the trolley will have 3 kind of hop-on, hop-off locations around the backside of Fountain Square because it's going to be full of cars and the roads will be closed actually around the square, but you'll be able to hop on or hop off at the parking structure by City Hall or back where the Tidball's old parking lot was to hop on or hop off if you would like the tour or if you just want a nice little cruise around downtown. I was a Dolly last year that did dress up on the trolley for that and had a wonderful experience. The wig was a lot more fun than I expected it to be. I'm not really a wig person. I don't get dressed up often, and I felt like I had this whole new personality that just showed up for about half an hour. But the Capitol is playing the Steel Magnolias movie for free, and after the Dollies unload to that red carpet entrance, they get to go watch that movie for free. And that's open to the public for anyone to go. The Capitol's got just over 700 or so seats, so anyone is welcome to go watch the Dolly movie, and there will be the opportunity for the Dollies to be introduced as they walk in and make their grand entrance into the film. So Monday really is Dolly Day between the cave and butterfly things, the Dolly trolley, and the Dolly movies at the Capitol. So we're going to dub Monday as officially Dolly Day of Duncan Hines Days. And, you know, I know that you all as attractions do the best that you absolutely can when it comes to Google reviews, TripAdvisor reviews. I know you all rely on those things so much in your hospitality business. And Duncan was kind of a trailblazer in that, as he was the first to introduce this idea of being recommended by something and having a stamp of approval for those things. Could any of you all elaborate how important that connection is to your mission and what you do and the success of your attractions, not just for tourists, but also for locals who come visit you frequently and attend your events too?
Well, for us, we're being new, only 2.5 years old. We're still trying to get the word out that we're even there. I mean, every day I hear, we didn't know you were here. Mm-hmm. When I do ask people how they found us, though, that's how they find us, you know, especially when they're out of town. They said, we were Googling aviation museums, you came up, and you had a great review after, you know, so, and that mattered to them. So they would turn to come see us, and next thing you know, maybe they're going to a restaurant afterwards or whatever they're doing. But we give them a great tour, And we're so thankful that people are doing that. And I always encourage them, please keep doing that, because maybe the next guy will read your review and come in. So that's very important to us.
Boom. Exactly.
I'll say at the Historic Royal Park and Train Museum, we live and die by those reviews. They are absolutely critical. And Bob, I'll tell you one thing that's probably not going to change. The depot turned 100 years last year, and we still have people that don't know we're there.
Okay.
So good luck. And we've been operating as an attraction for over 20 years, but I have talk to people in this community, born and bred and raised in Bowling Green, and they're like, we have a train depot? And I'm like, yeah, it's downtown. Have you ever been there? So, but those reviews are critical because, I am a traveler myself. And if I know I'm going someplace, I check out, well, what are they saying about that place? And I'm looking for what the negative things to see. Is it negative because it's your expectations were unrealistic, or did they really do something outrageous? But sometimes it helps me gauge my expectation for what's going to happen when I get there. But, there's also, people are usually so willing to share, and it's nice when you hear something or when you read something in a review and you learn that, they have a connection with Duncan Hines at that museum. That's cool. Who's that? They want to learn more. So it can also be a great way for people to educate other people about what's at your site and going on. So the reviews are absolutely critical. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, to play off what Jamie said for the cave, they are critical, and it's word of mouth these days, right? You go on and you find what other normal people that visit have said, and so it's critical again for us to get that visitation. And just like Jamie said too, we've been there for 30 years as an attraction, and it's so funny. You'll find the locals and they haven't visited, they don't know there are trails that you can come walk for free, haven't taken a cave boat tour. So it's fun finding people and trying to get the word out. So this is a great opportunity.
Hearing all of these stories from you all, there's something I kind of had in my notes, but I wasn't sure how I was going to get there in this conversation. But one of the wonderful things about all three of your attractions specifically is that you have a direct, natural connection to Bowling Green or to Southern Kentucky in some way. You are truly at the cave a natural resource that's been there for much longer than any of the rest of us have been. You all have been around for a long, long time. Aviation Heritage Park, you all celebrate these Southern Kentucky aviators who have their direct stories to here, and you find their actual aircraft. It's not like you're just going out finding random planes and helicopters going, I like that one, or I like that one. You find the ones that tell the stories here. And at the depot, you all are the same way. You all, the railroad is the reason Bowling Green grew to what Bowling Green is today. We could have been Glasgow if Glasgow would have gotten the bigger railroad depot. It's all of your stories have that true, homegrown local feel. And if you read or have looked at any of Duncan's old books that he was first starting, he had this message at the beginning of all of them. And he was very upfront and blunt with you, saying, these are my recommendations. As soon as my wife and I got our car, we decided we wanted to see as much of America as we could, but I want you to write to my home address on Louisville Road in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and tell me about your experiences, good or bad, at the places that I recommend. And there is something so wholesome and genuine and authentic about that. And all of you all provide that true natural connection here, because there's a ton of attractions all over the world that are kitschy and made up. They're cute, they're Instagrammable for a second, but then you don't really connect to them or remember them that much. All of you all are not that way. You have the true roots in here, which is exactly the way that Duncan treated his business. He wanted you to keep him honest and keep all the businesses that he had rented his signs to say recommended by him, honest as well. And you can't really get more Americana than that. And I want to throw in that all of you all are part of the reason why we have been named a top 20 finalist for the All-America City Award this year. As part of that whole process with the National Civic League to be named one of those cities, we submitted 3 different projects that the city and county had put together with the community, and one of those was Duncan Hines Days. And the judges felt like in terms of engaging with the civic community community and social capital, that these kind of events that have true collaboration, that are natural and authentic, that don't feel forced, makes this such a wonderful event for all of Bowling Green and Warren County and this whole region, really, because we get people coming in from the neighboring communities all the time, coming to your events or the weekend events or coming to a concert or whatever. So thank you for actually having the real, genuine roots and stories about locals that matter. And Duncan is just one of many examples of that. But before we sign off officially on here, I want to hear from all of you. What are a couple of the bigger events this year that you'd like to push so everyone can hear? And how do people find out more about your attraction? Where should they go and what should they do?
I can start for the cave. We have member movie nights, so you come and watch movies in the cave. Join as a member and support the park. And then Cocktails and Trails is our annual fundraiser on July 31st this year. It's a Friday, so definitely come out and see that. And then we'll have Scarecrow Trail, which is a big family fun event. So yeah, we've got a lot going on.
And how do they keep up with you, follow you, all those things?
Definitely find us on Facebook or Instagram. We have Twitter or X. And then you can also just go to lostrivercave.org/events and keep up with us there.
Thank you.
Aviation Heritage Park, we're going to be doing a lot of educational camps this year. We've got a few of them online. There's 5 of them, I believe, online right now that you can sign up for. We had to add extra seats for those because they really are turning out to be very popular. We've got one on robotics, rocketry, aviation, drones, and it's amazing to watch these kids figure out how to do these missions, that are, they're really kind of cool. There's one of them, just to jump in and show you just how awesome this is. One of the missions is create a robot that can bowl for somebody who is in a wheelchair. Now, they could just say, create a robot that could bowl. And they could do that and be the same probably robot. But they're trying to connect that to how can you help your community. And all the missions are that way. The drones are about search and rescue. The kids have a blast, and I'm sitting here just in amazement watching these kids programming robots. And we'll have some robots at the opening event. Our Sphero robots will be there, and kids can get on a iPad and start learning how to program a robot right there. So it's going to be really super cool. So we have those. We also have our hangar party, which is our biggest fundraiser on June 20th. We'll have some fun things going on there too, educational. It's all fun for the whole family, but it's a big time. This year, the theme of it is American air power, and Bob Pitchford's going to kill me for forgetting that it is going to be a big time. And then, of course, we have open cockpit in October, where kids can everybody can look into the aircraft, and you can actually sit in the T-38 that everybody who ever walked on the moon flew.
That's so cool.
So you get pictures of that. It's a big time, and there'll be a lot of fun stuff attached to that as well. So.
And how do they find you, follow, keep up?
The best thing to do is like with Facebook. We can be found online at aviationheritagepark.com.
How about the rail park?
So we have a lot of fun things going on at the Train Museum, not just for kids, but for adults. And so the next big fun event that we have is July 11th. We have our annual Bowling Green Wine Fest. We have a lot of wineries from all around Kentucky, and they will be inside of the main depot, and you can sample wine there, and then you can go out onto our front lawn. We'll have a big tent and live music out there all day, food. We have a special VIP tent area. So we've been doing that event for, I think we might be in our 8th year now. It's a great event. Tickets are available right now at historicroyalpark.com, so we encourage people to come out for that. It's also a great fundraiser for us and for the Kentucky Wineries Association. And then we spend most of our summer trying to keep up with all these tours, which is great, which we love. And then that will bring us right into the fall, and we will have our annual Rail Park Rendezvous. It will be in October this year. So if you're a little bit of a nostalgic person and you like Hollywood glam, you will probably want to come out and see us. We're going to have some great impersonators. They'll be putting on a show for the evening. And so we try to make it not just your annual or usual gala fundraiser. So we try to make it an entertaining event, because when people come to the Rail Park, it's really important to us that they they have a good experience, they have fun, and that for a minute they can step away from their life and enjoy things. And so we really try to do that, not just for the tourists coming in town, but for the locals as well. And then we'll be moving into our Polar Express season. So whether you're a local or you're, nearby or just going to be in our town during that time, we do a Polar Express reading every year in December, and tickets are available for that late October, early November. They are free. You just have to come out and get them. But so we have some of those things that we do annual every year, and we're really excited to be able to offer those things again this year. And then there'll be a lot of different things celebrating America's 250 just throughout the depot and everything we're doing all year long.
And how do they keep up with you?
So you can go to historicrailpark.com. We have drop-down tabs from everything from events, membership, anything that you would want to know about. And then you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And Facebook is where we're probably most active. So if you really want to see what's going on, we update Facebook probably quicker than we do the website.
Got it. Well, and you all heard it here, folks. All of these amazing local attractions have a ton of things going on, not just for Duncan Hines Days, but also throughout the entire year. If you have been to these locations, go back, because you will not have the same experience twice. There is always something new going on. There's always an update to it. And all of you all will somehow be involved with the downtown kickoff of Duncan Hines Days coming that Sunday, May 31st from 2 to 5 p.m. around Fountain Square. The Duncan Hines Days website got a total refresh and is brand new this year. There's a new event calendar, there's a new wellness calendar section, and an Eats and Beats music section, and the restaurant week form is also brand new and has a new look to it. Any restaurants, food trucks, bars, catering companies, anywhere that touches food and beverage, you're more than welcome to apply. It's a simple form, and then we feature you on the website for free at no cost. And you can find all of this information at our Duncan Hines Days website. Follow Facebook and Instagram mostly. We do have X, but we're not as active on it. We are simply Duncan Hines Days on both of those. And I would be remiss if I did not say the Corvette Museum is giving away baking mix during this Duncan Hines Days week as well with a scavenger hunt. And if you visit our friends over at Riverview at Hobson Grove Historic House Museum or South Union Shaker Village, even all the way down to Auburn, they will both also be giving away Duncan Hines baking mixes as well for the entire week. So thank you to Kate and Bob and Jamie for being on the TalkBGKY podcast, and all of you listening, please come see us, go see them, and enjoy all of that, the fun stuff that we would have recommended to Duncan if he were here. DuncanHinesDays.com, Duncan Hines Days, Facebook, Instagram. And this is Talia Butler, Downtown Development Coordinator for the City of Bowling Green, signing off from TalkBGKY.